Shalom, shalom, family. All right. First and foremost, what we're going to do, we're going to give all praises to the Most High. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. All right, the prophesied Messiah for Israel. Right, and the true Israelites. Right, are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. All right, and we scattered through the four corners, Salakia, but we primarily here in Babylon. All right. All right. And I'm not saying what Kanye's saying, that we the Jews also know. We the true Jews. We the real people of the book. All right. And there's no doubt about that. So, hey, want to welcome everybody to this is the first edition of our Sunday meditation class. Appreciate you tuning in. If you tuning in, like the video, please, family. Subscribe to the channels if you're not already subscribed. All right. And it's free to hit the like button. So, show us some support, right? As I say, if you've been watching for a while, we want to be a nuisance to the powers that be. So if you like these videos, you share these videos, you clip them, and you take cuts and share it on social media so that this word gets out here, right? It's propagated, all right? It's propaganda, all right? We want to be a nuisance because we want to see the fall of this wicked kingdom, all right? And FYI, if you didn't know, it's on the way out. All right. Now, I didn't talk too much. Your captain didn't talk too much, man. This is the Sunday meditation class. Everybody see the title and everybody see the special guest. So I got the big dog up in here. All right. The brother Ahsh Rawchaa.
Shalom. I'm just a little dog, man. Just a little
Come.
dog. Trying to do big things.
That's right.
Yeah, how about Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatham? Salute in the name of who the world calls Christ to the brothers and sisters out there. The water for joining us. Shout out to the powerful Captain Azariah over there in Jacksonville. If y'all in need of the food, you need to go see that, man. Just tell them where y'all at, brother.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you can catch us every Saturday at 1068 Park Street in Jacksonville. Again, that's 1068 Park Street in Jacksonville on Saturdays. Usually out there between around 5 to maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock. All right. So if you come down there at those hours, you'll definitely catch us out there. All right.
Okay. All praises to the Most High.
Right. All praises to the Most High. So
picked
again, we
a hell of a
appreciate
title for this room in light of the recent goings on.
Yeah, Khan. Yeah, Khan. As our brother Ahsh was saying, that this title, Salakia, this title is apropos, right? Based on what we're seeing right now, based on what's going on, what's the major news that's permeating pop culture, as they say at the moment, right? It's the Ye interviews, right? The Drink Champs interviews, the Tucker Carlson interview that's on Fox News, and then also his interview with that devil Pierce Morgan. All right, all right.
And it's a beautiful thing because a little bit of light go a long way. It keep you going the direction that you need to go. And in situations like these, we could view Kanye West, and we look at what a little bit of light is doing for him, because it's a lot of Israelites. We watching this, us and it's in the know, and we're like, he don't know this breakdown, or he's not saying this right. But these crackers is trying to throw him off. They're trying to muddy the path so it's hard for him to navigate, but he's staying the course. Why? Because he got a little bit of light. Just imagine what light could do for us as a people if we would just look up and observe it.
That's right.
They tell the story about the slaves of old, and what they would do is look for they north star, or that song "Follow the Drinking Gourd."
Right.
A little bit of light guided them, but we talking about the light of the Most High, and how this whole world's covered in darkness,
right?
And how, in order to navigate out of it, we're gonna need the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So, I ain't gonna hog the mic. The brother Captain, I know he got some things to say. I'm gonna be here to build with you up.
Yeah, Khan, and I just want to piggyback on what you said there, big bro. That Kanye, he may not have the full light, right? He may not have wrapped himself, so to speak, using the figure of speech, wrapped himself in the Most High Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments. He may not be meditating on them, but I can tell you this much from watching his interviews that he watching One West videos, in my
He
opinion.
gotta be. He
He got to
watching
be.
somebody.
I don't know who he's watching. Look, and I was talking with my rib about this, right? And I was saying my prayer, hope, and prayers for Kanye West is this, right? Is that whoever he's watching, right? Because he got to be watching somebody the way the way he son Pierce Morgan and called him a boy, right? Let me finish,
You know.
boy, right? Hey, he must be. Hey, so look, hey, look. Hey, I normally don't do this, but shout out to my elder, right? I'm not gonna say former elder, to my elder, the brother Yakaba of the Branches, Baltimore. I know, and I used to watch that brother back in the day before I ended up being in the camp with him. All praise to the Most High. I used to see him, and he would call those Edomites out there on the pier in Baltimore, boy, talking to
Con.
boy.
Talking to him properly.
That's right.
Shalom Xavier McLeod in the chat.
Hey,
That's somebody
Shalom,
go.
Shalom, Mark. But yeah, so um, with the way he dealt with Pierce Morgan again, my opinion, obviously he's watching the videos, but the he only has a little bit of light. So again, like I was saying, I was telling my rib that my hope and prayer for the brother Kanye is that whoever he's watching, like he reaches out to him, that he gets in a camp and he starts learning, you know what I'm saying, these law, statutes, and commandments. Because I ain't gonna say it would be game over, but you know, when a rich man speak like this, like it's saying Sirach, man, everybody listen. All right. And you could imagine the flood of Israelites who were coming to this truth just based off of Kanye being in the camp, whether he was in HOI, whether he was rocked up with the brothers from Wi-Fi, whether he locked with our bros from the Shikari, right? The bros from No Cap, whoever.
Con. You know, now's not the time to be hating on what jersey the brother decided to put on, or maybe he want to start his own league, quote unquote.
Right.
In these type of politics, we really got to shake them because they're worldly things. You know, we've been standing out on the corner for a decade. You know, we the ones that's out here doing the X, Y, Z, and so therefore, and brothers don't realize when they're doing that, they're turning off the people that may have heard Ye say what he said, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, turn them fish towards the boat. So
Yeah.
it's time for brothers to drop their nets and really shut the hell up and observe, because if we would just pay attention to how the Most High answers prayers, this is a big fish making a big splash. And so what
Mm-hmm.
that means is that there's gonna be a flood of fish coming. You know,
Right.
why jump in and scare the fish away?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you mad because it's not the bait you put on the string.
Right.
Never,
Absolutely.
Yahweh give the increase. So we just need to be mindful and observant of these things and give all praises to the Most High.
That's right. Right. And definitely, man, because like Paul said, and this is one of my favorite sayings, like Paul said in the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 1, he said his hope and prayer is that all Israel might be saved, right? So that's how we should all feel, right? Okay. And we have to stick together, right? And that's Kanye's sentiment too, right? If you listen to him, is that we need to come together, right? Black and brown people need to come together and support this brother. All right. And if he do end up in a camp and it's not your camp, right? Don't be a hater. Don't be bringing up all of the stuff the brother did in his past life, right? Be happy that the brother repented, right? And he's coming into the light, right?
You know,
I got a precept too. Let me share my screen. Let's get a few precepts, all right? All right. It's the words of our Lord right here. This is the book of St. John, chapter 9, verse 4. It said, I must do the work of him that sent me. See, our Lord Yahweh Shah, he doesn't do his own work, just like we don't do our own work out here. All right. So the Most High Yahweh's work is his plan.
you
So
see.
he must do the work of him that sent him while it is day. Right? Yahweh Shah was talking about in his time while he was alive. All right. Because he says that what? The night cometh, when no man can work. What's happening in the nighttime?
Let me get that.
Mm-hmm. All right. See that? Yeah, I was sure going to explain in the next verse, right? But he said he got to do his work in the day because the night cometh when no man can work. Okay? Watch verse 5. He says, as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. All right? Okay?
Hold on real quick.
Okay.
Salakia.
Mm-hmm. Good, kid.
Some technical difficulties. You finished on that precept?
Yeah. I'm finished with this precept right here. All right?
Khan, I like that. I like that first verse where it says, "The night cometh when no man can work." So, if you think of parables like the foolish virgins versus the wise virgins, what's going
Mm-hmm.
on is that they're trying to be prepared so that when the bridegroom come, they could be ready. And what ends up coming is the bridegroom calls in the middle of the night, right? And that's
Ooh.
referencing this.
Right.
So, like your Second
Absolutely.
Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and
Mm.
the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So, this whole social political structure, all the internet cables that make people feel like they so big, like just think about it. The things that give people a voice, and they feel like that voice is of themselves and not the work of the Most High. All those things are gonna be reduced to ashes,
Right.
physically and figurative speech.
Right.
So that day's coming, and the time's coming where it ain't gonna be time to put no work in. People gonna be tested based upon the fruits they've already brought forth. So
Right.
to simplify things, uh, are you able to bring back the precept that you had, brother?
Yeah. Con.
That
I'm gonna
that that
bring that back,
precept
and I
sets the
got
whole
something to
record.
add to what you just said too.
Con. That
But
precept is
I'm gonna
going
bring this
down. It's
precept
short,
back
but
for you.
it's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, Con. This is Saint John chapter 9 verse 3. I'm gonna read it again for you, General. This is again Saint John chapter 9 verse 3. It says Yahweh Shah answered uh Salakia,
For
verse 4, Salakia. I must do the work of him that sent me
I must
while it
do the
is
work of
day.
him that sent me. It's that simplifies everything so much. If it
Mm-hmm.
simplifies everything so much, you ain't gotta figure out who your supervisor is and then report to him and then find out when you really get into it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So it's like a lot of us is like, well, who's Yahweh Shai for now until Yahweh Shai come back? Nah, it ain't none of that.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
look, Salak, and I like to say about the Pope because the Pope, part of his crown, his three-level crown, one of the levels means the vicar, which means the substitute for Christ. And I always ask, when did Christ do that? When did he said he left somebody in his stead on earth? He never said that.
The closest thing to that would have been Peter.
Absolutely. Right. And then they try to use that to say, well, Peter was the rock, which Yahweh Shai named him Caiaphas, right? But Peter was called the rock, and he did give him the keys. That was the authority for the doctrine that they were going to teach that he taught them. So they weren't saying anything different than what he said. I got a lesson coming on that too. Stand by. All right. All right,
Con,
and it's called from the Great Commission to the Day of Pentecost. All right, so be on the lookout for that. All right, but
con,
back to what I was saying, that's the only person who you could say, right? But then they say that St. Peter's Basilica is in Rome, and they say that Peter died there. There's no proof that Peter was ever in Rome. Okay, that is a fantasy made up, and that is not that statue outside of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. That is not Peter. That is Jupiter. All right. That's the Roman equivalent to the Greek god Zeus. Okay, that is not a representation of Peter. And Peter was not no pope, right? Because pope means father. Peter would have never said, "Call me Holy Father," because he was taught by Yahweh, and Yahweh said, "Call no man father," right? Except your Father who's in heaven. But let me get off that. All right.
You about to go in, but you talking about like, and these is topics that come up and need to be expounded upon because we've been looking at things through a dirty lens. We've been looking at things in darkness,
Right.
which leads me to the question: what hit you and just made you say, for the first episode of this segment, I want to go into the law being a lamp. What made you? What triggered that motion?
Yeah, Con. Hey, and that's a beautiful question. And I'm glad you asked it because when I was thinking of when I was thinking about uh, a different platform to communicate the word to the people, right? And I thought about I was thinking about first when would be a good day, and then what would be a good idea. And then when I finally got to the point, we decided on the Sunday meditation, the class, the time period, and things like that. What I wanted to think like for the first lesson in that class, what would be the most important? What is the most pertinent for our people here in our current situation? And not only that, with the climate that's actually going on here in Babylon right now, right? And it's a simple fact that we need help. Who needs help more than us? Right? Who needs their path lit up so that we can know the way more than us? Because we've been trying to do it ourselves and having our so-called leaders, right? Our blind leaders, the dogs who can't bark, right? For since Jim Crow,
Gone.
right? And they haven't led us anywhere. They haven't been a light to us. All they've done is exploit their own people and wax rich off of us.
Big con. And it's cold because they say it was the end of slavery and we was emancipated, but there was no type of reform. There was no type of programs in place to habilitate us. We had to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
and us figuring it out, it led to some good things, and it led to some horrible things. Tulsa, Oklahoma, we figured that out,
Right.
but the thing that the crazy thing is that we figured it out by feeling our way through the dark, pertaining to the
Mm-hmm.
curses of Deuteronomy 28.
Right.
And you 100% right. It's like if
Mm-hmm.
we're really going to walk and we're really going to reach a destination, we need to be able to see. And it's like when you in a place like this, the destination might not be clear,
Mm-hmm.
but the way out is by looking at the light at the end of the tunnel. And
That's
then you
right.
could begin to feel your way out from there. And it brought to mind this: Job 10 and 22.
All right.
A
I'm gonna
land of
share my screen.
oh, con.
I'm gonna share my screen just edify for edification's sake. You want Job what?
Job 10 and 22.
It's the book of Job, chapter 10 and verse 22.
You
A
know,
land of darkness.
we in a land of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And the gospel tells us that gross darkness is going to be covering the earth and the people, but the Lord's light is going to shine upon us one day. But
Woo! That's right.
that's one day. The light at the end of the tunnel. Go ahead.
Right. As darkness itself.
So it's like this place is the epitome of darkness. This place is
Right.
the embodiment of darkness.
Right. And why is this place the epitome of darkness? Real quick precept, right?
Shalom to the brother Jason in the chat. Y'all Bashim y'all Shai Barakatah.
Come on. This is Numbers. What I want. Number 35. Right, and this is why this place is in gross darkness, right? 35 and 33. It says, right, ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. That's why this land is in gross darkness, right? Because this land is polluted. All right. For blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. It's the only way to get this land up out of the dark state that it's in, because of all of the Native American and Taino Indian blood that was shed, the Northern Kingdom, all of the Southern Kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, blood shed on this country, still being shed to this day. That's why this land is in darkness, right? As darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, right? See, again, and of the shadow of death. Why all of this blood that's shed here, right? And this makes me think of, yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right?
Mm.
I will fear no evil. Why? Because thou art with me. Who? The Most High Yahweh. His word is the lamp. Man, oh man, oh man. All right.
Uh,
All right.
but that's it right there. His word is the lamp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we in a land of gross darkness. The land is darkness itself, and the
Mm-hmm.
only light we got is the words Yahweh Shai spoke, which was the law, statutes, commandments of his father. And
Right.
so it would obviously behoove us to take hold of that light.
That's
You know,
right.
like for an example, um, can you get Romans 8:1, Baba Gashar?
Okay. The book of Romans, chapter 8. This is verse 1.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna preface this. You
Okay.
you you see, and when you see, it makes your path plain. When your path ain't plain, you gotta bump into shit. You gotta
Okay.
learn through pain. You gotta trip, fall, get back up again, and then you got to tie the pain to memory, those missteps, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to knowing exactly where you're going. But when we
Right.
got this light, let's just see what the scripture says.
Right. It says, therefore, excuse me, there is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
What's that condemnation? What's condemnation mean, Baba Kasha?
I mean, I'm gonna go to the blue letter and let's get it. All right. This is the Greek
Krima.
word katrama,
Katakrima.
katakrama. Absolutely. And let's see. All right. Damnatory
Damnatory
mm,
sentence. So
sentence.
that condemnation is a misstep that you can't make your way back from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's go back to the scripture in question. We'll just read it from the start.
All right. There is therefore now no condemnation
There's no condemnation for who?
to them which are in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai.
Now in darkness, we've been taught that if you believe in Jesus Christ, nobody can condemn you. And the
Mm-hmm.
scripture's not saying that, because it's saying that there's uh, there's something that happens when you actually believe in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you believe in Christ, you walk after the spirit, not the flesh, as the scripture will go on to say. Go ahead.
Right. Who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
Right. So those who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit, which is in the light as opposed to in the darkness. Go ahead.
Right. For the law for the law of the spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who made me free from the law of sin and death.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For what the
So let
law could not do, and that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
watch this.
Right.
Romans 8:4 is gonna go
That's
on to
right.
elaborate.
That the righteousness of the law.
The
Mm.
righteousness of the law. So doing the right things in the law. What people got to understand is that there's wickedness in the law too. Wickedness just means bad. There's consequences in the law. There's the don't do's and then there's the do's. So if you do the righteousness, you affirm the things that you're supposed to affirm and say no to the things that you're supposed to say no to. That's the righteousness as opposed to you having to reap said consequences. But go ahead.
Right. I'm gonna read verse 4 again. That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us. All right. Because like I was just pulling out Romans 7:14 says that the law is spiritual. All right. Who walketh not after the flesh, but after the spirit. So if you walking in the spirit, then the law is righteousness because the law is spiritual.
Yeah. Keep going.
Boy, right? For they that are after the flesh do not mind the things of the flesh. Do
Those who
mind
don't have the
Salakia the
light,
things of the flesh.
those who don't have the light, they can't take heed to the things that the light brings forth. They're stuck in darkness. But they that are after the spirit do what?
But they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
Keep
For
going.
to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. All right. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, for it is not subject to the law of God.
Man, it's not subject to the law. It's not subject to the light of God. It's not following that light. It's not following that path that the light shines on. And it
Right.
says, "Neither indeed can they be." But what's the moral of that story? What's the scripture ultimately getting at 8 and 8?
Fine. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yahweh.
So let's just lay it out like this. We all got to run a race. The book of Ecclesiastes tells us that the whole duty of man is to fear God, keep his commandments. Tells us that's the whole duty of man, the conclusion of the matter. If that's the race that we all are to run, then we have the light
Mm-hmm.
illuminating that path for us. Running the race is trying to please God by fulfilling our duty, our
Mm-hmm.
debt to the Most High. Those who can't even see the path, those who aren't walking in the light, they can't please God.
That's right.
So they
And
just
look,
live in vanity. That's what it all means. Go ahead.
and let me just piggyback on what you said. You said they can't see the path because they don't have a lamp. See, that's why Yahweh Shah said that the path to destruction is wide. All right. When we out here in darkness, I mean, you can easily fall in the hole, man, but you need that word, the lamp, right, to illuminate your path so that you can see the narrow path.
Con. So,
Whoo,
in
boy.
in in other words, the righteous brothers and sisters, they walk in their path, and it's lighting up like the Billie Jean video, and
Hey, God, that's what I was thinking about too.
everybody,
Right.
everybody else is stumbling.
Mm-hmm. Right. I got a precept to back that up. This is Baruch 4:1. It says that this is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, the law that endure forever. Major cut to Christianity, but we'll keep going. All they that keep it shall come to life. This is the same sentiment that Peter is espousing that we were just reading in Romans 8. But watch this. But such as leave it shall die. Then he just didn't Paul just say that up here? For to be carnally minded is death,
Con.
but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. This is the same sentiment right here. Watch this. But this is who it's addressed to. These are the people who need the light. It says, "Turn thee, O Jacob." That's Israel. All 12 tribes. Turn, because we need the light. Black and brown people, we need this light. All right. It says, "Turn thee, O Jacob, O Israel, and take heed of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof." Mm. Whoo! You got to walk in the presence of the light thereof. The commandments are light, that thou mayest be illuminated. Mm, 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 mm. That thou mayest be illuminated. Okay?
God.
So again, this word is a light to your path. It illuminates the path. Going to make the path clear for you. All right. We don't live in the time with our Lord Yahweh Shai. That's why he said in John 9, he said, while he's in the world, he's the light of the world. But he knew we were going to go into gross darkness. Darkness itself, as it says in Job 10. Right? He was talking about the work that he had to do, right? But while he's in the world, he's the light of the world. And by the way, he's still here in this world. You say, hey, Z, Yahweh Shai died over almost 2,000 years ago. What are you talking about? He's still here in this world. Well, isn't he the word? Okay. So his light is here still shining, right? We just have to take it upon ourselves and let it illuminate us. We got to take heed. See, the apostles and disciples, they saw him and they were illuminated by him. He breathed on them the breath of the life and broke down the scriptures. We don't have that, but we still have them, right? We still have him, and he can speak right to us. Watch this. This is Revelation chapter 1, right? It says, this is the revelation of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, which Yahweh gave unto him to show unto his servants things that must shortly come to pass. All right. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, okay, who bore record of the word of God. So he's bearing record of the word of God, who is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. All right. And the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach in all the things he saw. So he's going to give a record of the things he saw. But this is the point right here. It says, blessed is he that readeth, right? And heareth. When you read and you read the scriptures, what do? If you're reading it out loud?
You hearing it.
You hearing the words of the prophecies. That's why it's important. Blessed is he that readeth. When you read it, you hear it. And keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. All right? So that's how he's here with us, right? He is the word. And if we read him, we can hear him.
And faith comes by.
Faith comes by hearing. Man, you in my head too. That's what I'm gonna go next.
So Cap, basically what you're telling me is that the Bible's underrated. Even as a bestseller, the Bible's underrated. That's what you're telling me.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, this is Romans 10:7. So then faith cometh by hearing. Blessed is he that readeth and heareth. And hearing by the what? The word of God. This is the same. John and Revelations 1 is the same sentiment that Paul had in Romans, which is the same sentiment that Baruch, who was the scribe of Jeremiah, had in his letter. Okay, they are all talking about the same thing. The word to be a lamp, to be a light, because we need it. We need the guidance. This guidance is for us. As the general just beautifully stated, this book is overrated. Is underrated. Salakia, this book can never be overrated. Okay? All right, this book is underrated. So our people would just pick this book up, right? And take heed to it, right? And apply these law, statutes, and commandments, we would be in a much better situation, right? Maybe we wouldn't have to deal with situations like this right here. Right? This is the immigration crisis in New York City. And I've been wanting to talk about this because we haven't forgot. I feel sometimes we neglect our brothers from Central and South America, the Northern Kingdom, right? And we forget about their plight. All right? And we know that the powers that be here in Babylon are not going to put their plight in the forefront. All right. They had their whole land stolen from them. They were kicked out. Some of them put on reservations, right? Like the reservation. I think that's in Montana, where Mount Rushmore is, where they have to look at the statues of the colonizer, the head of the colonizer who came and stole their land. My black so-called black brothers and sisters, you think you got it bad? Look at what our Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters are going through. Check the drug and alcoholism rate up on the reservation. You trying to tell me we don't need a fucking lamp? Salakia, forgive my language.
Nah, that's a good angle. Like if you deal with the whole ADOS movement, it's like I want people to feel sorry for what happened to us here, but forget those who were also affected by the transatlantic slave trade just based off of what fucking island they landed on.
Right,
That's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with Haiti, you look over there. It's fucked up
right,
over there, bro.
right.
It's fucked up over there. Brothers is happy to live in tents over there.
Mm-hmm.
Running water, forget it.
Right,
You gotta
right,
pay to go to regular school over there.
right. Absolutely.
South America, lights, forget about it. Heat, for
Get
what?
about it. Right.
And it's not to say we don't go through nothing, but it's just like it's how the mind fuck has been. It's been it's been used to drive us against each other instead of helping us to see how we relate. We so bound up in our own self interest and our own turmoils that we can't even empathize with those around us. So, the light of the law of God's also going to help us illuminate those sorts of topics as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely.
Shalom to brother Joseph in the chat.
Yeah,
Brother
yeah.
Joseph.
Shalom, shalom to the mighty soldier brother Joseph out there in Macon, Georgia, man. FOG, Macon, Georgia. All right. Shout out to you, brother.
It's going down, as they say out in Houston.
God, God, it's going down. But and as you asked me earlier, General, you asked me, well, why did I want to do this? Because I have been thinking, about what's going on with the Northern Kingdom, and I had thought about how we give ear to a lot of stuff because there's so much out here to cover, there's so much going on, right? Just within the so-called black community, right?
Mm.
At a lot of times we often forget that not only do the black people need the light, but our brown brothers and sisters, our Northern Kingdom brothers, they need this lamp too, right?
Right.
And if you do it by comparison, right, they probably need it, if not just as bad, worse than we do.
Mm.
These
Most
Edomites,
definitely.
man, have been taking our brothers and sisters after they held them right in crates on the border. We ain't forgot about that, Esau. All right, let me show y'all. Right,
They never found over 2,500 children that went missing.
right. Let me see. 2,500. Where the right? And we forgot about that. And I reported on that back in the day too. We all did, right, brothers in this truth. What happened to all the children? Why is they separating the families? Why was Trump saying we got to take the children?
It's sick, man.
Sick, man. Straight wickedness, man. And they still haven't found these families. They did a report I was watching on Fox News a few made so like it was CNN, and they were reporting on the families and how many families they were able to put back together, and it was minute compared to the families that have still been separated. And they were saying that some of these parents will never find their kids. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the shit is beyond heartbreaking. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like a lot of the Jews, we won't know in this time what that's like. But
Right.
the white man
Absolutely.
can never and should never be able to even open his mouth up about who's speaking hate speech. You know what
Hmm.
we should feel like in our situation.
Absolutely. Right, and we're in Kanye, like that devil Pierce Morgan tried to say Kanye, and I wish Kanye was more versed, right, or just maybe caught on to it, because he's an intelligent man. All right, our brother Ye is intelligent, right? But when he was saying that this comment, when you say you was going def com, not def com, right, which means he's going to protect himself because he's being wrong. He fears that an attack against his oppressor is imminent. That's what Kanye was actually saying when you understand what a def com is. Okay, that he was under attack and he was preparing himself. He was getting ready to defend himself. And this devil, Pierce Morgan, says, Kanye, that's racist. Would you not admit that it's racist? And I'm looking like, Kanye, why don't you tell him? He said that that's racism. Why don't you say, no, that is not racism? Obviously, you don't understand the difference between what being a racist is and what actual racism is. Kanye West is not in a position to implement racism on the Jewish community.
Right. Like I'm not allowed to go on the defensive. I would
Right,
love to have been a part of that discussion, but you know, it is what it is. He proved
right,
he proved his point nonetheless.
absolutely. Right. And now this is racism right here. This is racist and it's racism. Right? The way they treated our brothers and sisters down here at the southern border. Right? I wish I could look at that. They got these people haven't committed any crimes. Why are they behind and fenced off?
Yeah. Hey, real quick, if I'm not mistaken,
Look at
being
this.
racist is pro your
Right.
race.
Let's
So it's things that you do to further your race despite others as opposed to I mean, why not just call it discrimination?
right. So this is let's show what the general is talking about. All right. Hold on 1 second. So racist, right? Right? Race suffix ist, right? Is prejudice against or antagonistic towards persons or people on the basis of memberships in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. So, based on the definition, he couldn't be racist towards these Edomites, these small hats, because
Okay.
they're not. Is that community marginalized? Ak?
Right. Hey, but look, even if we get into the etymology of racism, it's racial supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, race ism. It's the doctrine of racial supremacy. The ism is the doctrine. The
Mm-hmm.
race is obviously the forefront of that word, but it's the doctrine of one race. And it's used to amplify one race above another. He didn't go on there and do that. He created a level ground so they wouldn't have nothing to argue against, showing how unjust the white man is. He said we Jew too. He went as far as to
Mm-hmm.
say I can't be anti-Semitic because I'm also a Semite.
That's right.
But it just goes shows how the white man is so prepared to cry, you know, for help for no goddamn reason to flag the Klan down. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
they always want to rally up a lynch mob and play the victim.
That's right.
You know, the brother spoke well.
Mm-hmm.
Racist, nah. Discrimination, yes, but this like we're raised to discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, should I cross the street? Should I not cross the street? Is this
Right.
food poison? Is it not poison? You mean to
Right.
tell me? I forgot who said the analogy, who spoke it. I think it was Malcolm X. You know, you mean to tell me you're gonna walk into a pit of snakes in hopes that the one that's not poisonous is gonna rally the others not to bite you as well?
Right. That's a powerful scene that Malcolm X actually spoke, but it was a powerful scene in the movie Malcolm X. Right. Right. And he's talking about so-called white people like Chris Morgan said to Kanye West. He said that not all Jewish people are bad businessmen and women. Right. And that
Mm.
is true. That is true. But should he continue to have to deal right? After he's been wronged over 20 times, this is what Ye said, right? Dealing with small hat businessmen,
Right.
right? So it's a snake. Excuse me. It's a pond of businessmen, right? Let's say it's 100 in the pond. Let's say 70% of them are crappy businessmen and 30%, right? And these are fish that'll eat you like piranhas. So he's supposed to dive in and just hope that the 70 don't eat him, that the 30 will take care of him. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
No, so he can generalize because we're generalized, right? Just like Trump did. Trump generalized the whole Northern Kingdom basically, but he in particular was talking about the tribe of Issachar, right? So-called Mexicans. When he said that they're rapists and drug dealers, huh?
But he won based off of that.
And he won the presidency off of that. And they
But
trying to cancel Kanye.
it's cold how they do it though, because the Democrats, they called him out for his terminology. Forget the policies. Like, the most racist policies come from the Democrats. But the
Absolutely.
way that they operate this machine is they speak on it at opportune moments. So they'll speak on racism when it's opportune, so that they can ultimately point the finger and say, see, this is what racism looks like. Therefore, we're on your side. So now when it's time for you to speak up and say something, they can say, nah, we've always been against this kind of behavior. You're just as bad as Donald Trump, or you're just as bad as the KKK.
Right? So that they can cancel him, right? Balenciaga, they've already stopped their dealings. Um, if anybody is familiar, his name I believe is Ariel Emanuel. If you're familiar with the show called Entourage that came on HBO, the character Ari Gold, who was the agent for Vince, the movie star, on that ongoing show, is a very good show, by the way. I suggest you watch it. Right, this guy, right, the real life person, his name is as Ariel Emanuel, right? He has the power because he's head of the largest entertainment company in the world. They portray that in the show too, where he merges his company that he founded with the company that he left, which made him head the biggest agent in the world over the largest agency in the world. It doesn't just cover movies; it covers all types of entertainment, music, actors, boxers, rappers, whatever. If you're doing entertainment, they got you. He says that everybody should cancel Ye,
Yeah.
Apple, Adidas. Wow. All because he said that he was going DEFCON. He wanted to protect himself. And he didn't say that he wasn't anti Semitic or anti Semite when he said that we're Jews also. And they just glossed over that, right? Pierce Morgan didn't want to touch that, right? Why don't we talk about that, right? That if Kanye's saying that we're Jews too, then shouldn't y'all treat us like brothers, right? Stop exploiting us, keeping our people in gross darkness.
Um, it's cold. So, basically now it's time to stop falling on the excuse that the white man's not guiding us the right way. We know that now. Things like what we're seeing today, they're helping to further expose that for the generation that may be more naive. And all praises to the Most High for it. But the question being, what do we run towards? Well, it's this light. It's
Right.
this light.
Right. And why do we have to run through this light? And this is important. This is one of the main things I want to get out before we tighten up. The main thing, and I'm gonna give a precept too. So let me share my screen real quick. All right, share my screen. This is why we need this light, because not only the just regular stuff that we go through on a day-to-day basis here in Babylon, you gotta work 60 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like a brother like me, I work 7 days a week, and get a day off. All right, which is unfounded, right? But I have to do what I have to do, which I'm not the only brother in that situation here. We all struggling. We all in a financial bind. All right. But we got something worse than that that's coming that we need to prepare ourselves for. Right. This is Jeremiah chapter 30. All right. And this is for you black and brown people. All right. Understand that this is coming. Right. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's troubles. All right. See, this is why you need to have that lamp, that light, because Jacob's troubles are coming. There's a special temptation, as it's called in Revelations, the hour of temptation, right? That's especially for us. And that's when you're going to need to draw on Yahweh Shai, the light, the lamp. All
Big
right.
con. Big con. When you done with this one, get Psalm 1 and 1, Baba Kushan.
Con,
Hey, check your email too.
con,
I need that code from you.
con. Let me get you this code right quick. Slovakia.
Yeah, you might want to unshare the screen first.
Oh, shoot. Slovakia.
Your private info on there.
Stop my shit. All right. Con. It's 853140.
Hey, five. The water.
Con. Now let me Salakia fam, let's get back to it. Let me share my screen again. Share my screen. And this is Psalms chapter 1, verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that walketh. Salakia, let me start again. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly.
So blessed is the man that's not walking in the counsel of the ungodly. So we can just kind of look at this as a path. That counsel is a path. They lay out a manual for you and they say this is how you get from point A to B. And if it's the unrighteous that gives you that format, you say, hell nah. I'm not gonna follow it.
Right. Right. Nor standeth in the way of sinners. Right. Nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. All right. See, that's what we can't do, man. Right. We can't be around people who are sinners. Right. Standing with them, following their path. Right. That's the path to destruction. Right. They things that seemeth right, but the ends of destruction. All right. Nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. All right. And that's what we shouldn't be doing, especially toward the children of our own people. And Jake good for that. Right? But what should we be doing? Right? Beautiful precept there, General. It says, but his delight is in the law of the most high.
That's the path you should fixate on.
Mm-hmm. That's right. See, this should be our delight. Right? Let me get a precept. This is Psalms 119. Psalms 119. And let's see, I think I want verse 9. All right, this is verse 97. Oh, how love I thy law. It is my meditation all day. Right? Thou, through thy commandments, has made me wiser than mine enemies. See that? We want to get the upper hands on our enemies, right? We have to come back to these law, statutes, and commandments. And Kanye kind of actually showed that by just his
Exactly.
rudimentary knowledge of who we are and of the scriptures, right? Right? He's way wiser than Pierce Morgan, than Tucker Carlson. Okay? Right? That's why he could sit up there and son him, boy. right? That's why he could explain that Hollywood gives the context on free speech, and they exploit it, stretch it like it's a like it's what's something that stretches and then bounces back like what's that like putty or slime that like my daughter plays with. It stretches and then she can put it back into a ball,
Yeah,
right?
elastic.
Right, like elastic, right? That's what Hollywood is with free speech, right? That's why Kanye said it's about the context, right? Because they create the context on what can is allowed and what's not allowed. Like they'll let that cracker, and he's a racist, just like Mark Wahlberg. If you've seen the movie Departed, where he got to drop the N word a few times, he probably loved that, right? Why he because he said that he asked Leonardo DiCaprio, look at the coincidence between what I'm about to say. Is Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie The Departed with Mark Wahlberg, that racist? You can look him up, his racial statements and what he's been arrested for. All right. He said, ask Leonardo DiCaprio, why do you want to be a cop? He said, some people just want to be a cop just so that they can shoot and kill a nigga. Right? And then a few years later, that devil Leonardo DiCaprio does a movie with that other devil Quentin Tarantino, where he uses the N word, who knows, hundreds of times in that movie. See, that's what Kanye's saying. That no, it's no limits to free speech, and there shouldn't be. But Hollywood and the powers that be, they create the context on what free speech is, and then they silence you if they don't like what you're saying. It's despicable.
What else did he show though? He showed what the light looks like in the hands of people who it's not even for. Speaking of the wisdom of the Most High, you know these people, they can apply it to a low degree. You know they don't have to keep it in their everyday lives. They're not complete Torah followers, but they use a lot of the Torah for the code of ethics when it comes to how they do business with each other and shut out other nations.
Look at that,
So
and
it's
this is
like we
what
can see a living example of how that wisdom would just help us if we would just adhere, if we would trust in it.
man, man, General, you in my mind because I wasn't thinking about that just now, but it's one of the things that I normally say is that the small hats, they've taken our commandments, right, that make us wiser than our enemies, right, and they've applied it, and look how they've excelled. Imagine if we would just take our own principles that's for us and apply them, right? If we and see that's what that wicked ass devil Donald Sterling, who used to own the Los Angeles um he used to own a sports franchise in LA. I can't remember which one, right on him. But what he said, right? They were interviewing him, and it was kind of on like, what's the problem with the black community? What problem do you have with the black community? And he's a small hat, a so-called Jewish man, right? And he says that basically, I don't really have a problem with that community, so to speak. He says, but their problem is that they don't support each other. That's why all other nations can come in. He didn't say this, but this is what I'm saying. This is why all other nations can come into this country and get above them because all the other demographics, all the other races stick together.
Ones that don't even associate with the Torah.
That's right. The Chinese man, he come over here, he get his loans, he open up his little rat, cat, and dog store and his little corner stores where he bounce up like that Asian man did in Friday, right? You think it's black owned, it say black owned, and then you see that damn god daggone incest baby up there, man. Right? Right? And then but they stick together. They'll come over here, open their stores up, take full advantage of the United States tax code, right? They'll exploit it to their advantage, and then they'll send their money back over to their people in Asia and China, and then bring them over and transfer the businesses in their names and send their kids through college, right? That's why, like that devil said, they can sit up there all self righteous like Jackie Chan looking mug in Minister Society. I feel sorry for your mother.
Get Zachariah 2:1, Baba Kusha.
Come on, got you, King. This is Zechariah chapter 2, verse 1. And it reads, it says, "And I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a man with the measure and line in his hand." What is he measuring, right? Then said I, "Whither goest thou?" And he said unto me, "To measure Jerusalem."
Oh no. Um, Zephaniah.
Oh, Zephaniah 2. Okay. I got you, King. This is the book of Zephaniah chapter 2, right? It says, "Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired."
So it's time to take a damn hint. You know these other nations is clicking up. You know Psalm 83. They all clicking
Mhm.
up. It's time for us to click up too. It's time for us to take a cue. It's like if it's not even from the wisdom of the Bible, we could at least be smart enough to look around at the political climate and see that everybody hates us. One,
Mhm.
everybody's gathering themselves together. Everybody's getting ready for what's coming, and us, we still want to maintain the same shithole habitat that we've been dwelling in for the past 500 years,
Right.
right? And we
Absolutely.
have instructions on how to do that. Let me see.
Come, what you
It
want?
is it's Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah 29:4, Bible shop. We here in Babylon, right? This is talking about ancient Babylon, but you know we need to be applying it to this Babylon as well. Jeremiah 29:4. We're gonna read down a little bit.
Come. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29. I'm going to start at verse 4. "Thus saith the Most High of hosts, the power of Israel, unto all that are carried away captive."
Unto all that are carried away captive. We want to argue about who's had it worse and all this dumb shit when really what we need to be doing is just having a listen ears to people that was taken away captive. Period. Sort the rest out later. We need to just realize we're in a captivity together, and the only way we're gonna get out is together. Go ahead.
Right. "Whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon."
Hmm.
Right. "Build ye houses and dwell in them,
Build ye houses and dwell in them. Uh huh.
and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them."
And so when you look at these agricultural references, you're not looking at something nomadic like we've been taught to be relatively nomadic. Through gentrification and just wanting to do things the fucking hard way all the time. I'm gonna
Right.
kick my kid out as soon as they're old enough to get a job instead of doing like some of the Northern Kingdom tribes will do, doing like some other Hamitic peoples that will come here. It'll be two, three generations in one house, allowing them to keep money in one family and
Mm-hmm.
start to generate some type of wealth that you could pass down. It ain't no overnight shit. It ain't get you an apartment and go to McDonald's. It says build ye houses and dwell in them and plant gardens. So when you look at agriculture like this, you're not planting a garden just for no temporary shit. It's telling you to put down roots
That's right.
so that you can have some kind of foundation. This is how people get advantages. And so a
Right.
lot of it we look at it as impossible. And don't get me wrong, it is hard. The scriptures do tell us that we're gonna be cursing everything we set our hand unto under these
Mm-hmm.
curses. But the Most High also says, I'm gonna feed my servants, the prophets. The Most High says that I'm gonna bless you if you do the things that I tell you to do. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead
Right. "And eat the fruit of them."
and eat the fruit of them. Oh, food prices is high. Not if you're growing the shit yourself.
That's right.
The
Not if
seeds is gonna get more rare, yeah, but it's like if you would just follow these instructions from the jump, it would be advantageous to you. Go ahead.
Come on. "Take ye wives."
Take you some side bitches.
No, "take ye wives."
Take ye girlfriends.
take ye wives.
That thought. Everybody get a thought. It says, "Take ye wives," and when you deal with the wives, when you dealing in the wisdom, we know that she's a pillar of rest in your household. We know
That's
that
right.
you are beginning a possession, which tells you that you have to have the mindset that you're about to build something, and you start to build it first by getting the wisdom of the Most High, then
Mhm.
finding you a woman, a good and decent woman, and begin your multiplying. Go ahead.
Right. And beget sons and daughters.
Sons and daughters. Oh, mourn your sons and daughters.
No, and beget sons and daughters.
Hit up that Planned Parenthood.
And begot sons and daughters.
Stock
Man,
up on Plan B pills.
and beget sons and daughters.
I heard they got them new pills coming out. I heard they got Plan C, D, E, F, G in this motherfucker.
Man,
No,
no,
it
we
says
gotta.
beget sons and daughters. We supposed to delight in the fruit of our body. So everything contrary to what we've been taught so far. Let's continue.
Right. And take wives for your sons.
Uh,
Right. And give your daughters to husbands.
Nah, teach the kids that women ain't shit. Teach the kids that men ain't shit. Teach the men that you don't need no women. Teach the women that you don't need no men. Turn them against each other. Make them hate each other before they even know anything about the opposite sex for themselves.
Right. And if
You
I
see
could
this?
add, if I
Yeah,
could add,
come.
Salak, I put them in competition with each other starting from a young age so that then when they get into relationships with each other, they don't know how to interact besides competing with each other.
Calm. Calm. Very, very, very good point.
Right.
Very good point. So it's warfare. It's love is a battlefield instead of using love to strengthen yourself so that when you have to go out on the real battlefield that you are refreshed.
Right.
These are degenerative lifestyles that we live in. But keep going.
Right. That they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not
Be
diminished.
be increased there and not diminished. And so just with that ending thought process, right? Just with that ending thought process, it's a good thing when there are more of us. But
Mm-hmm.
we've learned that we so threatened by each other. We've learned to be threatened by our numbers. We
Yeah, that's right.
loathe to see one another. We
Con.
don't like it when a brother says, "How you doing? Shalom." We don't like when a brother or sister look at us too long. Why
Mm-hmm.
she got an attitude with me? She don't even fucking know you.
Mm-hmm.
You know the consistent bullshit that we propagate ourselves,
Right.
the negative energy that permeates off of us is
Con.
all based in the darkness of this world that we've been taught. Yeah, to our credit, we've been taught this, but the
Mm-hmm.
Bible is telling us, if we actually believe in it, it's telling us that we supposed to delight in each other to where we want to make more of each other.
Right. Right. Absolutely. We should be like, this is a great and mighty people, right?
Right.
Let's make more of them. Right. It makes me think of I like this movie series called Underworld. It's about so-called vampires and werewolves. And in the third installment, they're talking about the first of the werewolves, right? And he was
Mm,
basically born in slavery, right? If you kind of see the contrast they tried to do through this movie,
I
right?
remember that.
Right, you got the aristocratic vampires who enslaved the 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 werewolves, right? So anyway, the first, not the first werewolf, but the different breed of werewolf came forth, right? And the head werewolf or the ruler of the vampire Salaki, he has his young daughter with him, and he asks because they're watching this slave, this werewolf, right? He's the first of that kind. He says, "And shall we make more of like of him?" And she said, "Like him." She said, and his father says, "No, not like him, but more of him, because he'll always be the first of the likings." Okay, right? So that's the thing. We should want to make more of each other. All right.
These is
We should look
facts.
at the beauty of our people and say, you know what, man, this is a beautiful and great people. I think, man, I should have about 7, 8, 9, 10 of these little mugs.
know what I'm saying? Try the Royal Tenenbaums. We got matching.
Right.
We got matching family sweatsuits. We got a sprinter that we riding around in,
That's right.
doing
Right.
it tremendo.
Right. We got the extended minivan. Right? Right. Matter of fact, we got the stretched excursion. All right. Three-wheel motion in it too. Just joking.
Oh damn,
God, just
reckless.
joking.
Judice is reckless.
Right, yeah, you see the Judite come out of me real quick, all right? Fourth tribe, Judah, baby. All right. Let's keep going though. You want verse 7 too, right, King?
Um, yeah, that's a good part too. You know, I was really looking at the other ones, but that's a good part too, because it says that we should seek the peace of the city. Now, that's
Mm-hmm.
not to say that this is our rest, but it just goes to show that there's certain advantages that we could exploit if we would just smarten up.
Kanye is a
And when us,
billionaire, not just
yeah,
1 billion, multi-billionaire.
exactly.
Okay. So you can find rest here. You can be successful here if you apply yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then it's not about becoming a billionaire or a millionaire. You know what I'm saying, or anything like that. But what it is about is keeping these law, statutes, and commandments, doing what Yahweh told us that we can be successful here. We can build houses. Right, we can plant gardens. We can eat from the fruit thereof. We can be fruitful and multiply and have children and teach our children the law, statutes, and commandments so that they teach their children's children. And why this is why he's telling Jeremiah this, because this goes back to the law in Deuteronomy chapter 30. Watch this. This is why he told him this, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 30. Salakia. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30. I want to show this, right? To verse 1, it says, "And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses that I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations, whether the Lord thy God have driven thee. And thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and thou shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. Thou, point, and thy children."
Mm.
See that? This is why this is why the Lord chose the prophet Jeremiah to do that, right? To build houses, to plant gardens, and to have sons and daughters, and to give your sons and daughters away, right? Because we have to come back to the light, the lamp, and then we have to teach our children. Right? Salakia, 1 second.
No, you good. For this is for the young brothers who is getting ready to start families. You know what I'm saying? I myself have not been blessed with children just yet, but just look at it like this: if our parents came into the knowledge a
Mm-hmm.
couple generations ago, and they had the idea, let me generate some wealth,
Mm-hmm.
just knowing how precious time is and how knowledge is to increase in these next days, you want to put your children in a place where they don't gotta be tripping over their toes to make an income and gain knowledge to further the truth. If you want to speed it up, sometimes it's about laying it down now so that they don't have to lay it down later.
Yeah,
You know, we
con.
giving up our 20s, our 30s. They said 30s the new 20. Here I am, 34, and I'm living the life of an elder. Why? Because
Mm.
it's important to. But it's like when we have that knowledge, if we could just understand that a little bit of wealth to pass down, a little bit of generational wealth to pass down, a house. So my kid ain't got to get a house. He ain't got to worry about a mortgage one day. A car to pass down with some decent mileage on it. You know,
Right.
owning something as opposed to having my hands on everything that's new and that's shiny. That's something that my son or my daughter don't have to scratch off the list one day. And
Con.
that said, that's a little bit more time they could focus on doing this work and getting our entire nation up out of this wicked ass place. And so, if we all took the opportunity to think like that, just imagine how quickly we could be up out of here. Being as how when we read Deuteronomy 30, we see that the reversal of these curses is contingent upon what? us coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and breaking
Right.
the generational curses by teaching it to our sons and our daughters, who will teach it to their children. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
Most High ain't gonna allow us to possess a land that's holy and special to Him, and something that was promised to our forefathers, if we still the same wicked niggas that we was when we got kicked out. No matter how we dressing, no matter how fly the hair wraps and the fringes are, no matter
Right.
how dope that new Israelite truth music mixtape is, no matter how many
Right.
bars is coming out of nigga mouth, he's not gonna give the land back to wicked niggas.
That's
Which is
right.
why Ezekiel chapter 20, when you read from 34 down to about 37, I believe, it
Hmm.
tells us that the rebels is gonna be purged out.
That's right.
So, we supposed to get on a good foot, and we supposed to, purge that rebelliousness out of us now, so that, he can't come and scoop us up like he promised us he's gonna do.
Right. And this is right, like he said, this Deuteronomy 30 and 3, right? That the Most High Yahweh, thy power, will turn thy captivity and have compassion on thee, right? And will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Most High Yahweh, thy power, have scattered thee. Okay, so
Con,
that's what we're hoping for, right? That's what we want, and that's why we have to teach our family, teach our children these laws, statutes, and commandments. Teach our wives, right? Reach one, each one teach one, right? All right. So um, that's really what I wanted to get across. But I also want to show this right here before we wrap it up, General. One more thing.
con.
One more thing. Hey, and the water again for coming through, man. Wouldn't have been the same if I didn't have you, big dog.
It was my pleasure, man. We gotta do this more. All
Con,
praises to the
con,
Most High. We gotta do this more.
con. Hey, next week I want y'all to tune in same time, 11:30 a.m. The special guest is gonna be the Elder Marshall from Baltimore. All right, all right.
Let's go.
Let's go, con. But this is what I wanted to show, right? This is here in my local area. This is Jack's News, right? Middleburg is a city that's basically right next to Jacksonville. It's a neighboring city, right? It says Middleburg neighbors wake up to find racist flyers on their cars. All right.
Mm.
This is what they found, right? It says that neighbors in one Middleburg neighborhood are outraged at the racist flyers that were placed on their cars last week. Residents said someone walked through part of the Whisper Creek neighborhood Tuesday night, last Tuesday, and placed flyers on their windshield. The flyers included swastikas and other white supremacist propaganda. All right.
Mm.
Middleburg, where this happened at, is probably about 10 to 15 minutes from my house where I'm currently sitting. Okay. And again, this is why we need a lamp, man. These people terrorize us, right? They hunt our steps to where we can't even walk up in the streets. We can't even live in whatever neighborhood we want. You live in this neighborhood, which is a known Edomite neighborhood, right? If you move into their neighborhood, they don't want you there.
Calm. Hey, what's Second Ezra chapter 16:68 say? For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they
Hmm.
shall take away certain of you, and feed you being idle with things being offered unto idols.
Right.
But it's telling you that there's going to be a nation with a burning hatred towards you. Just
Hmm.
you.
Just you.
We serving our enemies, people that don't spare the young and the old. Man, we become way too disillusioned about what we really dealing with. So, these things, man, we shouldn't be looking at this as, oh, the police will take care of it. We shouldn't even be
Hmm.
looking at it like, oh, the Most High ain't gonna let nothing happen. We should have the faith that the Most High is gonna protect. He's gonna protect His chosen ones. But the
Right.
scriptures say that if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the wicked appear? We
Right.
should be taking
Absolutely.
this with the utmost seriousness and tightening up on our end.
That's right. And you people, and I'm sharing this, brothers and sisters, right? So that you understand a lot of our people out here think that we live in it's because these Edomites, Salakia, feed that to you through the media, that we live in a post racial society. How, Sway?
Con.
Okay, we do not. Okay, this person said, this is a quote from one of the people who live in the neighborhood. This is the last portion I'm going to read. It says, I came back from being out of town, and these flyers are sitting on our windshield. Look how they stalked these people, waited for them to go out of town so that they could return and see this. That's what you call psychological warfare.
Yeah, man. Trying to
All
make
right,
somebody feel like they in terror in their own dwelling place.
right, right. And I think that they were on the back end of our neighborhood, said one man who's asked not to be identified. Look how much he won't even identify himself because he's scared of these supremacists, these white supremacists, so-called white supremacists, because the white man is not white; he's red. Okay, right? It's not it's not terrifying, but it's sad that there's people that hold on to beliefs like this. Maybe not terrifying to you, but if this is a young mother who lives in a neighborhood who maybe has two young children, the father may not be in her life, and she comes home or from out of town and sees that, you don't think it's terrifying to her,
Big con.
right? They had a movie that's getting ready to come out about Emmett Till. All right, I'm fascinated to see the angle that they're going to take. My rib, she brought it up to me, saying that she's really interested to see it too, as long as they do a good job with the film portraying what actually happened, not make doing a hit job on the so-called black man while trying to create the gender war between the black man and the black woman to portray her, his mother, as the end all be all everything. All right, just tell the story about what happened to that young brother. All right.
Man, we're gonna see the black woman frontlining the civil rights movement, and we're gonna see the men take a weak stance.
Right. And that's
It's,
what I
it's it's
believe.
unfortunate, but that's how shit is going right now.
Yeah, calm.
That's how shit is. Aside from the brothers that's in the truth doing this work,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is brothers watching. Brothers like I'll stay home and watch the clothes, and they women is out in the streets with picket signs and shit, coming
Right.
at the
You're screaming
law.
Black Lives Matter.
Niggas is pussyfooting these days. It's unfortunate. So it's like it's a good time to capitalize on that for the enemy. You know.
Right. And I got a couple of preachers. I want to read this one because I had it queued up for what we were just talking about, right? This is what we have to be aware of. This is Amos 1 and 11. It says, thus saith Yahweh, for three transgressions of Edom, right? The so-called white man, woman, and child. And for four, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother Jacob, the Israelites, with the sword, and did cast off all pity. See that? They don't care about you. And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So we cannot be shocked. The dealings going on here in Babylon, modern day Babylon, with the so-called white man, white woman, whose biblical identity are the Edomites. All right, that's been proven and quantified more than we can we can talk about. All right.
That's your pastor. That's your
Mm-hmm.
grocery store clerk. That's everybody. Shalom to Leon Atkins. Hey, is my audio good? Everybody in the chat, can y'all hear me? I'm gonna play
Yeah, put a
y'all.
one in the chat if you can hear him good.
How my audio?
Yeah,
I want to make sure y'all can hear this.
con.
I want y'all to hear what a good Christian thinks about y'all.
Mm-hmm. Put a one in the chat if it's good. All right. Look like it's good.
Yeah, one is good enough.
Yeah,
Let me
con.
let me pull this up.
They're all stupid fucking niggers from them stupid fucking black Hebrew Israelite clan. Did you hear that? This nigga's been whipping.
You hear that?
Oh man, is that Nick?
Yeah, that's what a popular Christian think about y'all. That's how he feel about us.
Mm-hmm.
He said we're all hey to them we're all stupid fucking niggers from the Black Hebrew Israelite clan. So please understand if that's how a Christian is willing to talk about you, these people, these people man, these people that don't give a flip,
Right.
bruh, it's coming. It's coming, man, and we just pray that brothers and sisters take this seriously, that they pick up these scriptures and use it as the lamp that they ought to use it for, and
Mm-hmm.
that they meditate with us. You doing this every Sunday, brother?
Con. Right. And let me give a little bit of the background. I know what this class is about. This is important. So that's what this lesson is going to be about. But this platform is going to be a little bit different, Akim. Um, it's definitely going to have a biblical tilt to it, but it's not going to always be straightforward. Um, what you expect. So there may be topics where we have sisters up here talking about things that affect them. Okay, which is important. We have to listen to the voice of our women because our women are vital in our walk. All right. If you in your household, right, you're married, you may have children, or you may just have a woman that you're dealing with, your rib, right? If she's not there to support you and she's not being that helpmate to you, then it's going to make the job that you do a whole lot harder. All right. And I'll just give you an example, right? Like me and my rib was talking last night, and she was saying that our sisters have to understand sometime the stress that's put on the Akim out here doing this work from day to day, right? And I speak for myself. Like y'all see me, y'all see my beard is starting to gray, right? When I first came in this troop about 6 years, I'm still in my 30s. When I came in this troop about 6 years ago, I didn't have any gray hairs, right? Doing this work is like being in the presidency.
Mm.
All right, it ages you. Y'all see the bags up under my eyes. I work every night. Okay. All right. My daughter likes to say, "Daddy looks old while my wife looks young."
Man, see that's cold, man. It's cold, but what I'm gonna say is this: all praises to the Most High, because you sacrifice the flesh for the matters of the spirit. And it's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to say it, but it's a whole nother thing to do it. It's a whole nother thing to do it. Brothers, we not immune to seeing our physique deteriorate due to the laborious works that we're into. We're not immune to seeing that and possibly freaking out. Brothers see this type of shit and they bug out and they leave the truth every day. They'll
Right.
blame it on whatever else,
Come.
whether it's they want to run back to bacon or it's because they want to indulge in as many hoochies as possible before they need the blue pills.
Right.
You
Gotta have that
know,
hoe over there.
gotta satiate the needs that you got during that midlife crisis.
That's
So
right.
it's like you really gotta evaluate if you in this thing and for what. Because brothers think they getting in it for a look, bro. And looks, bro. They say black don't crack, but I would go as far as to say if you in the truth and you dealing with Jake face to face on a regular basis in these matters, it's liable to.
It's
You know,
definitely.
the scriptures say that
Definitely.
the wisdom causes men's face to shine, but
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to take for granted these precious years. So when we sacrificing them and we putting our asses on the line, literally, pause, on these street corners for the sake of our people, is definitely a wear and tear
Right.
mentally too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I couldn't say it any better. So I'm not even going to add to it. I got one last precept that I'm going to read, and then we're going to go ahead and close it out. But again,
Okay.
like I said, I want everybody to tune into this class. It's going to be a kind of a different class. Um, Salakia, I may like I said, have the sisters up here, and the sisters may have a pre-recorded class that we bring forth, right, to edify on things that are affecting them, right. I may talk a little pop culture, and that may be what we talk about. I may talk movies a little bit, right, what's going on in the entertainment world, right. I like boxing, so I may, digress into that because don't get me wrong, just because there are things that we talk about in the secular world right? They still tie back to the plight of the black and brown man and woman and child here in Babylon.
Con.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna be doing. There are gonna be things that we can meditate on, right? Like I'm gonna come and I'm probably gonna ask the general to come back and cover this topic with me. We're gonna do uh, an exploratory look at the first Black Panther movie, and then the follow up, the sequel to it, which is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And we're going to look at the contrast of the two kingdoms that's in the second movie. And then we're going to look at explore the contrast between the king and Killmonger in the first movie. That's something I've been wanting to explore.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I noticed the dynamic in the first one. We gonna chop it up about that. But
Yeah,
it hit
kind.
me and I was like, wow, that's sick, bro.
Yeah, hey, we ain't gonna give it to y'all right now. That's coming, Lord willing. I can convince the general to come back with me when I do that class.
Let's ask the chat real quick though. Who was the good guy? One, if it was Killmonger, or two, if it was T'Challa.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, real quick. Who do you think is the good guy? Because when I come back, I definitely want some evidence on this. Just to see what people thinking. Who was the good guy? Was it Killmonger or was it T'Challa?
Oh, speaking of Killmonger, Creed 3 about to come out.
I heard that. I
I
heard there
seen the
was a trailer,
trailer.
but I haven't seen it yet.
I'm about to find it and shoot it to you. I
Con,
just
con,
sent you
definitely
another
do that.
one we gotta talk about. China just simulated a nuclear blast against the Starlink satellites.
Mm, See that?
But I'm gonna let you get where you going, Ak. My bad.
Con. I'm just waiting for whoever who's in the chat. You know what I'm saying, to throw up what they think. You know what I'm saying. I may ask this question a few times, leading up to covering that particular topic on whatever Sunday that comes. But like I said, I see the brother Joseph. He's thinking. He's like, and that is a hard one. Who is the good guy? Who's the antagonist and who's the protagonist? Right? That movie does, and that brother Ryan Coogler, he does a very good job of making that dynamic fuzzy in the film. Right? See, and the brother says Killmonger is the antagonist, right? And if you say Killmonger, Salakia is Killmonger is the protagonist, I believe is what he's saying. And if you believe Killmonger is the protagonist, you can look at that in the plight of the black man and say that that's true. The black man, he just wanted his people to be treated equal. He found the means to actuate it, and then he was demonized and killed.
Gone.
Right?
He said he confronted his lineage. So we looking at a brother who was accountable. We looking at a brother who was accountable. He said, we're gonna have to rectify this from the root. And everybody else, they showed no integrity. The old king, what happened basically was, I'm spoiling it on my end. The old king died.
Yeah. No. Hey, Salah, we gotta say this for it, man. This is gonna
All
be
right,
a
all
hot
right,
topic
God.
because look, everybody's
Y'all better
familiar with
tune
the.
in. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, y'all better tune in, man, and tell your friends. Tell them like it's gonna be a few weeks. We got a couple of other lessons that'll be in topics that we'll be covering first. But I say within the next month, Lord willing, me and the general, the brother Asher Carr, we're gonna come back, all right, and cover this topic. I don't want him to spoil it. I want him to keep that, right, because I have some things I want to say and we don't want to spoil it. But it's a absolutely a dynamic that needs to be explored and it needs to be looked at and understood, right? And then we can take from that aspects, you see what I'm saying, and apply it to life in general, right? Because as they say, art imitates life, or is it life imitating art? Right?
Art imitates life.
Right. Absolutely. So, I'm definitely excited to talk about it with the release of Black Panther Wakanda Forever due to drop. Definitely excited to see that film too.
They call him Kukulkan.
They told him Cuckoo Khan. Ah, hey, look, we're gonna talk about that. And if through the spirit, y'all know what that's referencing. If you know anything about the Northern Kingdom and the Aztecan culture, that's all I'm gonna say.
Azariah slid back in and said, "Hey, hey, hey."
Yeah, I had to stop you, kid.
Man, it
Con,
was good building with y'all on today. You know what I'm
con.
saying?
Let me read this last precept real quick. Right, this is Psalms 109 and 119 and 105. It says, "The word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." All right. I want to read verse 104 too. All right. It says, "Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. The word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." That's important. All right. To remember that. So that's all I had, King. Go ahead, General Salaki.
Nah, you good. I didn't have nothing. You know, that was it. That was good. I enjoyed myself today. You know, it was good building with brothers. I hope y'all was edified. I hope y'all enjoyed the atmosphere. We tried to be a little less intense.
Con. Right. Right, absolutely. This, as the general was saying, this atmosphere for these classes want to be more like a conversational feel. Like you're sitting around here with me and whoever the special guest is, and we're just talking, right? We're talking about these things, right? We're talking about how certain things affect our community, how the actions of others and ourselves affect our community, right? How art and what goes on in the entertainment world affects us, right? Affects our people. Actually, and how our people affect pop culture throughout the world, which is important,
Mm.
right? How we steer the narrative, right? So, Khan, I want to just say Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah to everybody out there. All right,
Y'all
you got
Bashim
anything out?
Yahushai Barakatah. Brother Joseph over there in Georgia, he says Shalom FOG Akim, FOG gang in the building. For brothers who's in the chat, you want to join the ministry, you want to get boots on the ground with us, hit us up at fireofgodclassroom@gmail.com. Again, that's fireofgodclassroom@gmail.com. Get with us, support the ministry at Cash App, Ahsh Recall. We out here going into the best of our ability, man. Y'all
That's
stay
right.
strong, stay fervent, stay locked in.
Uh, I couldn't say any better. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end it on that note, giving again all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom, family.